you, and unto you shall be peace. Okay, today we're going to talk about gang stalking. We're going to talk about commerce is heartless. I might break this up into a couple different segments, just because, um, just because my phone might die. Like I said, when we doing these live transmissions, when we bring magnetic messages and sing psalms, alms, you know, the enemy comes to where we display these magnetic messages, okay? Because even moths are attracted to the light, okay? So darkness is always attracted to the light. That's why we deal with monitoring spirits, so on and so forth. They always watch the chosen. They want to steal our ideas. They want to suppress our funds. They want to keep us in isolation, not knowing when they brought us into isolation. Okay, that those are who are the chosen ones. We know that the devil tempted God or Jesus the most when he was in isolation. Okay, so that's why we got to stay prayed up in that fear and mission of God, because it's a tactic that they use, but not they're not knowing that the chosen ones we always been isolated because we always been the outcasts. Okay, so isolation is meditation for us, and they don't know that. Okay, so they messed up by isolating us. So get that on the checklist. If you got notes, write a check. Okay, now let me go ahead and share this to my sources and see if we can get some people up in here. If not, oh well, the message is still gonna get across one way or the other. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and share that real quick. Bear with me one second, y'all. Bear with me one second, y'all. While I make sure everything shared, man. Hopefully we get some people to tap in. Hopefully some followers come through. Everything shared, man. Hopefully we get some people to tap in. Hopefully some followers come through. And let's go. We're gonna get it in. Like I said, today's topic is gang stalking, and the government conspiracy against the chosen ones. Okay. If you don't know who Gary Webb is, I advise you to go research Gary Webb. Okay, Gary Webb was killed. Okay, they made a movie about him. It's called Kill the Messenger. Okay, you know they always want to kill the messengers. Okay, whether it be John F. Kennedy, whether it be Malcolm X, whether it be Martin Luther King, whether it be uh, Charlie Kirk. The list goes on and on. Dr. Sebi, Tupac Shakur, um, who else, man? The list goes on and on and on, right? So, like I said, they always want to kill the chosen. They always after the chosen souls. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the mask off America today. We also gonna jump into commerce is heartless, okay? And we're gonna show you that America is actually a business. It's not. It's a corporation. Actually, not a country. Okay, so that's the lie to cover up, to keep you confused, lost, misled, miseducated, so you can be um, so you can be deceived. Okay, so if you're ignorant of something, then you can be deceived. Okay, so that's why we're gonna bring it to light. Like I said, it's all type of tactics and uh, documents that they actually have that are public information. So anything that I bring out on this video today is all public information. So you can go look that up. Okay. Um, so we're gonna start off with Luciferian symbolism. Okay, so we know that these people are very symbolic. Okay, even with the gang stalking. Okay, they always use signs and symbols and stuff like that. So you also can communicate. How y'all doing? How y'all doing, chat? Um, I will interact with y'all, uh, but we trying to limit distractions. So if I don't respond to your comments, I'm sorry. But we want to get these magnetic messages across without any distractions, okay? So we're going to talk about the rise, we're going to talk about the fall. And they really attack the chosen ones when we fall. Okay, so that's why the Most High said that we always should walk spotless and blemish without blemish, because they're going to use all our flaws against us. Okay, So whether you suffering from addiction, depression, anxiety, whatever you suffer with, they're gonna attack that. Okay. Um, so it's a must that we get back on point, back in tune, with our truth and our higher selves. Okay, because they want to attack they want to attack your inner self. They want to attack your soul. They want to make you feel down. They want to make you feel like you're not worthy. They want to isolate you. They attack your funds, your finances. They control. They're controlling. They're basically narcopaths. Okay. They're very controlling, and we know that narcopaths want to control every situation. Okay, if they feel like they don't have control, they lose power. That's when they get mad. That's when they get upset, and that's when they want to attack you. When their spells and their magic and their witchcraft for control doesn't work no more. And how they control us is by the foods that we eat. Okay, the GMOs, the pollution of the air. Okay, all these type of things. Okay, so they're gonna do the noise pains. They're gonna follow you on your daily routine. You know what I'm saying? And then they send their agents in to tell you, hey, create a daily routine and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And then the whole time while you doing your daily routine and you trying to better yourself, the whole time they got tactics and they're actually messing with your subconscious. Okay, whether you subconsciously notice or consciously notice or not, these things are being done. So we're gonna get right into the information. This is from a website called Luciferian Symbolism. It's at Wells TO. And you can look up all this information yourself. I just use this website for information source. And then we're gonna get into the scriptures and all that later. Um, but right now, I want to give you the blueprint, so you can see the levels on everything we're dealing with and how it lines up to the scripture, how it lines up to law, and how history, law, and the scriptures all go together. Okay. Um, so they're gonna try to tell you, hey, the Bible. That's all you want to do is go to the Bible. The Bible. They're gonna try to discredit the Bible because it all has to do with law. Okay. But see, they do these contracts. They do these. Like even when you sign up for your job. You know what I'm saying? You got to sign your life away. You signing your life away. So 9 times out of 10, you can sell your soul. So people sell their soul to their 9 to 5 job, not even knowing subconsciously. Okay, because they have all these legal things in place. Okay, that legal litigation is to keep you locked, confused, and down. See, a lot of people don't know that that your so-called birth name is a straw man. That's not to you. That's an entity. Okay. So uh, anything they court, they don't. So when you go to court, ask them for the tell them to show you their jurisdiction, and don't sit down when you go into the courtroom. So when you sit down and they say all rise, when you rise, you give up your consent to the judge. Now, if you need, I am not a lawyer. If you do need a lawyer, do be advised. Okay, this is only for information purposes only and educational purposes only. Okay, like I said, if I'm not a lawyer, if you do need a lawyer, do be advised. But everything I'm breaking out is public information. Okay, like I said, this is only for information and educational purposes only and entertainment purposes only. Okay, so let's get that clear and understood. Okay, so let's get that clear and understood. All right, so we do got let's see, we do got a Q&A thing. I don't know how it really works, but if you have any questions, you can ask. All right, um, you can't ask. I don't know how to get this off my screen now. But we're gonna keep on going. All right. So if you have any questions you can't ask, um, why are they stalking you? We're gonna get into that. And I'm not saying that they're necessarily stalking me. I'm just saying of gang people that are being stalked by individuals because there's a lot of people talking about gang stalking. Okay. And the light bearer. So you must be one of those. Okay. Because there are two lights to Lucifer, not just one. Okay. Lucifer is no longer a light bearer. He fell from grace. So he's not like there. That's why his name is now Satan. Okay, because he is no longer an angel of light. So if you are a part of those Masonic organizations, fraternities, um, groups, poxy groups, you, my friend, are the enemy. So, like I said, they're always going to come where we display magnetic messages. Now, we're going to go ahead and flip this over here. I didn't know that. Yeah, I bet you didn't. But you're going to learn today. So, we're gonna go to Luciferian satanic symbolism. Okay, it says right here. It says signs and symbols rule the world. It says not uh, words, not nor law. Okay, and that's from Confucius. Okay, man, I need to, okay. I don't need to get this off my screen. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. All right. He said, "Trust me, I'm not." It's all good. Like I said, man, there's two lights to Lucifer. Okay, but like I said, man, you know, there's a difference between trickology and divinity. Okay, so it's all the knowledge. It's all from the ancestors. It's all blah blah blah. Whatever they all say, all the conscious leader, whatever. Okay, but it's about how you using it. Are you using it for evil or are you using it for good? Okay, so that's where the in between comes in. All right. So it says these are symbols used by the reptilian proxy group. Okay, before we get into the reptilian proxy group, so we get the understanding of where the reptilian is and the reptilian noise is. Okay, they think it's like these snake men that's walking around with lizard skin, whatever the case may be. I'm not sure if those do exist, but I do know that Eve Salakia, sorry, that Eve slept with the serpent in the garden. Okay, she slept with the serpent in the garden. Um, and uh and she bore seeds of the serpent. Okay, because that's why I said there are two seeds. Um, I would put empathy between your seed and thy seed. Okay, so that was the distinction between two different seeds. Okay, so the first seeds that she born, which was Cain and Abel, those were the seeds of the serpent. Okay, that's why Cain killed his brother Abel. Okay, he was wicked. Okay, those are the seeds of the serpent. Okay, the righteous seed was Seth. Okay, Seth came as the righteous seed, which was Adam's righteous son. Okay, so like I said, there are two different seeds. All right, now it says right here, it says the reptilian noise, Illuminati, Freemasons, collectively known as Satanists and Luciferians. It says the signs of evil. The most popular is the symbol of the all, right? So the dollar bill is a magical pinnacle. It's not real. It's illusion. It's the illusion of makes you think it's real. That's why they work for it. That's why we slave for it every day. And they use it for as a form of control. I told you these people are narcopaths. Okay, they sell us death every day. Okay, whether it be from our cigarettes that we smoke, whether it be from the weed that we smoke that they selling us at the government. You know what I'm saying? They always gotta have their hands in it. But see, once you operate at such a high magnetic level, they know that the weed don't work no more. So that's why they use crack. That's why they use the hallucinogens. That's why they using the opioids. That's why they using the pain or the Molly pills and so on and so forth. Okay, these are all magic potions. Okay, to keep you under the spell. Okay, once you break the spell, you can start seeing again. Like I haven't ate meat in 4 days now. Okay, I haven't been eating meat for 4 days. I've been on a straight clean detox. You know what I'm saying? I got my energy back because my blood pressure was getting high. So I started fasting. I started praying, and I got back into the Word. I stopped eating meat, and I've been getting all type of energy and all type of magnetic downloads ever since. So we know that those things are to keep you up under the spell. Okay. So it says now. It says, and the most popular sign are the horns and the 666. Okay, where they talk about six neutrons, six electrons, and six protons. So that's how you know that the that he is an actual being. Okay, so don't let these people lie to you, because like they said, even Lucifer turned himself into an angel of light. That's why you got all these conscious people coming out saying all they taking all the ancient messages from the ancestors and the knowledge and re-promoting it, and like, and people are not knowing these are the same things that had us destroyed the first time. Okay, so all they doing is recycling old information. Okay, it's nothing new under the sun. Okay, as the scriptures say. Now it says any study of music and movies. Okay, I already did the lesson on the music and how they control us through the music, through the frequencies. Okay, and it puts you in a trance. Like I said, I used to be a DJ. Okay, so I used to see people in trance. I knew how the music controls you. Okay, so when you see that movie, the movie they call Tyrone, where they was playing the music in the club, right? And I was in a trance. Okay, I actually seen witnessed people in a trance before. Then when I was a DJ, I would only play certain music. Okay, but you got people, man, I want to hear this song, I want to hear that song, play this, play that. And then if you hosting a party, they want you to play certain music. And I'm like, look, yo, I don't want to play that. They like, no, keep it on repeat. I want to hear it 3 more times. I pay for the party. That's what I want to hear. Okay, then next thing, a fight break out, club get shot up. You know what I'm saying? All because you wanted to keep playing this wicked music, and I'm trying to switch up the tempo. It's cool to get the crowd into another, but we got to switch it up. You know what I'm saying? That's why I switch it up, slow it down to put some love in the atmosphere, slow it down. Okay, but when you're making money at the bar, you want to keep the money coming in, so you want to keep playing the song that want to come into the bar to keep spending money. You know what I'm saying? So, um, not necessarily saying that a business doesn't need profit, because it does. It's a business. You know what I'm saying? We learn how to do everything in moderation. Okay, if you're gonna be doing those type of things. So, um, it says we will find all the usual suspects proving satanic control. It says along with some of the symbols for the mind control. It says if you want a symbol to be used, it says stick with the heart. Okay, that's why they always trying to create the love spell. They trying to love bomb you with the love spell. Okay, it says the exact opposite of evil. Okay, it says they like to cut them out and offer them to Lucifer, okay, to see blood sacrifice. So they always want to cut them out and offer them to Lucifer, okay. So 9 times out of 10, when you in these, you got people that's in these organizations that surround you, they always gonna use the chosen ones as the sacrificial lamb, okay. That's why they always trying to sacrifice the chosen ones. That's why we have to remain hidden, okay. That's why we gotta fly under the radar, okay? Because they want to use you as a blood sacrifice, and it be people right around you. They ain't your family, they your friends, they your boss, they your co-workers. They everywhere, okay? So it's like what? It's like 30 million Masons in the United States or something like that, probably more by now. So majority of the country are plugged with these people, okay? That's why I said many are called, few are chosen. Okay, it's not a lot of us, but when we all come together, we are powerful. Plus, they can't stop us because of the magnetic messages and okay, because they control all things, even evil. Touch you unless God ordains it. So that's why they try to break you down. That's why they try to get you to self sabotage. That's why they try to get you to go against God's will. That's why they try to get you to go against God's law. And they set all these tactics and they got all these motions in place to have you self destruct. Okay? So once you are aware and bring awareness, it kills the spell. Okay, so now they got to come up with new tactics. Okay, they're not gonna attack you no more. Now they walking around, they ain't got shit to say. They not provoking you to anger no more. They not, they can't even look you in the face for real. Okay, now it says all the worship. It says all the worship gods are few. It says, and then you see they try to get you to go back to the Anunnaki. Anunnaki reptilians going through various names. down to years such as Nimrod. That's who y'all celebrate on Christmas. You celebrate the Nimrod Christ. Okay, because Nimrod's birthday was actually on December 25th. Christ's birthday is not on December 25th. So when you celebrating Christmas, you actually worshiping Nimrod and Baal. Okay, and Molech. Okay, passing your kids through the fire. Okay, and the scripture says that we should not let our kids pass through the fire. Okay, it also says that we should not touch any unclean thing. So what do they do? They try to get you through the woman. Why? Because the woman is unclean 7 days out the week. Okay, so 9 times out of 10, when you're a chosen one and you might be sleeping with a witch and not even know it, she's gonna try to get you to sleep with her on her right before her menstrual cycle, or she's not gonna let you know she's on her menstrual cycle, and then y'all gonna have sex, and then now you got that blood on you, so now you unclean, and they most likely gonna do it on a day that they do the rituals. Okay, which is days of like the 13th, the 23rd, the 26th. You know what I'm saying? These are ritualistic days. Okay, that's why if anytime just go look and see how many blood sacrifices they done did on the 13th or the 23rd or the 6th or the 9th, so on and so forth. 11, you know they use 11 too. You know 11. All that is numerology. Okay, like I said, it's signs and symbols and everything, right? Because that's what they do. They are symbolic. Okay, but like I said, the Most High exposes all evil. So Anubis, they use that as well. Horus, they use that as well. Osiris, they use that as well. Baal, they use that as well. Shamash, they use that as well. Janus, okay. So they'll try to do an omen on you in the month of Janus. Okay, I was gonna go register for school, uh, but the date that they wanted me to come register was on the 13th. And I'm like, hold on, it's Janus, it's January 1st, it's the 13th and 2026. Oh hell no, I just take my classes online. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not finna go up there on their ritual date and sign whatever paperwork they got. Nope, that's them trying to put you under another spell and trying to distract you and take you away from the mission. So that got voided and deleted. Then we got the Quasicoat. Okay, this goes back to the Aztecs and the Mayans. Okay, which those are the Israelites. They are from the tribe of Issachar. Okay, um, but some of those individuals use blood sacrifice like the Quasicoat. So we're gonna go ahead and look into this real quick, and I'm gonna show you the Quasicoat. You remember the movie Apocalypto? Remember the movie Apocalypto? Jaguar Paw, when they was bringing them up and they was sacrificing them on top of the pyramid. Okay, and we know about the pyramids down in Mexico and all the pyramids throughout the United States. Okay, the pyramids over in Egypt, we know that those are replica over the pyramids that are over here. So the Holy Land is actually over here. We living on it. Okay, but they gonna come up with all these terms and all these treaties and all these bills and all these executive orders to keep you lost and confused. Okay, because if we wake up to who we truly are, they gonna have to give us the land back, and that's why they trying to connect Mexico with Canada. And then that's why they just bombed Venezuela, and that's why Trump is trying to get 7 other countries to come up under American wing so they can come up to a whole new nation, so they don't have to give us our land back. Okay, y'all not paying attention to the signs. Y'all want to keep on voting when we supposed to have a revote, and the only way to revote is war. Okay, but we don't have nuclear weapons. We don't have plasma weapons. We don't got direct energy weapons like they do. So that's why God is assembling his angels of 200 million to come to fight the kings and the armies of the earth. And you can read that in Revelation 19. Okay? And in specific, Revelation 19 and 19 says they had made war with the Lamb, and he's assembling an army of angels to come fight the kings and the armies of the earth. That's why you seeing the chariots in the sky. They gonna tell you on C-SPAN it's UFOs. Okay? So get it right, not twisted. Okay? So like I said, if you wanna go, they're very symbolic. That's why they always tell us in the movies. Okay, they gotta tell us first before they can do their magic. Okay, and that's why they send their little people around to say little subliminal shit and little shit because they trying to work spells and magic on you, and it don't work. Or they trying to get a reaction out you to provoke you to anger, so they can point the finger at you, so they can use it against you. Okay, and these are the tactics that they use. Like I said, it's a spirit conspiracy to attack the chosen ones. Okay, or anybody with any magnetic messages alight. Okay, so the Baphomet, they take the Baphomet. That's the Baphomet oath. That's what they got to take to get into Hollywood. Is the Baphomet. Okay, Tupac got killed because he took the Baphomet oath. Okay. So now we're gonna go here. Okay, look at entertainers. We're gonna see how many entertainers do this. That's what they love to ask above so below. And now they got conscious religious leaders out here with words of the smooth sayer, making it sound good that the people are believing it. Okay, that the people are believing it. All right. So like it's like the scriptures say, beware of the words of the smooth sayer. They always come talk to you slick like a pimp. Okay? Of course all his words gonna sound appeasing to you. Of course he gonna be the most beautiful person in the world. You know what I'm saying? The devil was the most beautifulest angel. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, there be beautiful beautiful rat boxes of shit. Okay? This is another symbol that they use. Ain't that the sign that the police use? Ain't that the sign on the police badge? Okay, they showing you that they took an oath to Lucifer. Okay, just like with the American flag. Okay, we're gonna go to here for that. Let me show y'all that real quick, so y'all don't get it twisted. I'm gonna go to my page real quick. It's an article I did in 2012. Okay, so we're gonna and then they see how they be sending that agent. As soon as I get on my page, look what you see. You know what I'm saying? Women trying to entice me into sin. Now I'm gonna have to go delete another person. I've been going through deleting people. If I see something like this, they getting deleted. Why? Cause I know it's probably a plant from the enemy. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna go to Commerce is Heartless. Right? We're gonna go to Commerce is Heartless. Okay? It's a thread I made back in 2012. Okay? Um Now mind you, it's about sovereignty, sovereign power, sovereign, political truth by Amir Yakia Hokmah. That's my Hebrew name. Okay, that's my natural name. Okay, my natural being name. Okay, not the straw man. Okay, so we got two different types of flags. We got the military flag, which is the red, white, and blue flag. I don't condone in that burning of the flag, but like I said, this is all for entertainment purposes only, and information purposes only, and educational purposes only. Okay, so this is the peace flag. This is the flag of peace. This is the civil flag. How come America doesn't fly this flag? Why does it fly the American flag? Because we are constantly at war. Okay? And who is America at war with? Its own people. You don't believe me? Let's check the documents. Okay? Let's check the documents. Okay, that's a quote from the president, John F. Kennedy. It says there's a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child. Before I leave this high notable office, it says I intend to expose this plot, and then his head was blew off in front of the whole country. So, they have no problem with killing their own. They just did it to Charlie Kirk. Okay, and they shot him in the throat. What was that symbolic for? It was symbolic for killing the throat chakra. So this is why they want to suppress your voice. Why? Because it has magnetic power. Okay? Um Now, United States Code is Title 28, 3002, Section 15 states that the United States is a corporation. It's United States means it's a federal corporation, agency, a department, a commission, a board, or any other entity of the United States. It says in an instrumental of the United States. So since it's a corporation, it can be sued. That's why I said we got to put a petition against the government, the United, I mean, not the government, but the United States corporation, federal corporation, okay, for its war crimes against its citizens and the indigenous people of the land that they stole. These are war crimes. We are not slaves. We are political prisoners, okay, of war. These are war crimes. They bombed us in 1932 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They firebombed us again in 1976. Okay, blacks in America, indigenous people of America. They call us blacks. We are not blacks. When you say you are black, you're calling yourself your slave. I am a natural breathing man. Okay, I am not a slave. I am the inheritor of this earth. Thus said the Lord. Okay, thus says my indigenous blood. Okay? So if you want to read up on what a corporation is, you can do that. Look up the definition of corporation. It says that the corporation is an organization formed. I told you it's an organization. It's organized gang stalking organizations. Okay? This is a federal crime. Okay? So it says an organization formed with state and governmental approval to act as an artificial person. I told you to carry on business. I told you. It says or other activities. I told you so that, and that's your straw. Your straw man is also a corporation too. You are your own business. It says which can sue or be sued. It says unless it's a non-profit. Okay, and that's what I had plans on doing, turning my business into a non-profit, so I can hire felons um, that want good work release and want to get their life together. Okay, it says can issue shares of stock. I told you you are a share on the stock market. Okay, so when you get your original birth certificate from the Federal Reserve Bank that owns you, you're gonna find out how many times you've been traded to different banks. Okay, so every time you get a job, every time you use your Social Security card, whatever case may be, every time you use get a job, they trade you to another bank. Okay, so when you get your original stamp back, it's gonna show you, or you get your original birth certificate back, which is a trust bond to the estate that ties you to the state, to the land. Okay, and it's gonna show you how many banks have bought you, how many times you have been bought, and who really owns you. Okay, so and like I said, if they have your information, if they have stolen your identity, that is fraud and embezzlement. Okay, so like I said, it says can share. It says that's why, it's vital to keep your information, man. You know what I'm saying? Because people will use it against you. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's fraud. It's a crime. It's a federal crime at that. So it says one benefit. It says one benefit is that a corporation's liability or damages or debts. It says limited assets. It says so shareholders and officers are protected by personal claims. It says unless they commit fraud. Okay, and we all know that the birth certificate is a fraudulent document because you did not sign it at your birth. Okay, and it also makes you a ward of the state. So they are committing fraud and war crimes against us from birth. Now it says for a private business corporation, it says this article of incorporation and filed a Secretary of State incorporating states that include certain information, including the name of a responsibility parties or parties, incorporators or agents accepted or service amount of stock it will be authorized to issue and its purpose. It says some states' purpose may be to general statement of any purpose allowed by law. It says while others require greater specifications, the corporation shareholders affect that the board of directors, which in turn adapts by law. Okay, it says hold on, by law. It says others. It says while others require greater special specifications, corporation shareholders elect and board of directors in which term adopts by law chooses officers and hires top management, which in smaller corporations are often directors or shareholders. Okay, so they're gonna be the directors and shareholders, right? It says annual meetings. That's why they always gotta have a meeting. Okay, it says are required of both shareholders and the board. It says major policies decisions must be made by the resolution on the board, which often delegates much more authority to officers and committees. It says insurance that the stock or less than 300,000. It says with no public solicitation. It says and there's no that's another fraudulent law too. It's soliciting law. That shit, that's not. It's not a real law. Okay, they use that as a form of control to get money out you through the city. So um, and I can pull that up too, but I'm not going to right now. But anyway, it says relatively few shareholders is either automatically approved by the state commissioners, um, corporations, or requires a petition. I told you. So they gotta go sign, get a petition. That's why I said we need to write up a petition for these war crimes that the government is committing against us and the gangs and the people that they're stalking and the people that they're targeting. The targeted individuals that they're stalking, we need to make a petition as well um, for these war crimes from this United States corporation. Okay, this entity. Okay, these government officials, these officers, these committees, these neighborhood watch, they all are a part of it. Okay, and it is a crime, and they can be sued, and it's all equity court anyway, so they can be sued. Okay, like I said, they have no jurisdiction outside of Washington D.C. other than the Supreme Court. Anything outside of that is all equity court. So, but like I said, if you do need a lawyer, do be advised. I am not a lawyer. This is only for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. All right. So it says larger. It says larger stock offerings, so on and so forth. But we ain't even gonna get into all that. I just want to show you a brief breakdown of what I mean. Okay, and we'll get into that information later. Okay. So now let's get back to these proxy groups. Okay. It says hence. It says all the snake and horn symbols, the symbols, it says there are secret language. It says you can see the connection down the years by the use of the same symbols. Okay, in the Freemasonry, the United States government, and the communism with the hidden hand. Okay. Um it says in the hidden hand in the history. So let's check out the hidden hand. Okay, that's the hidden hand. Okay, I told you at the 14th degree of masonry, they worship who? Jabbalon. Okay, it's not till they get to the higher degrees where they worship Yahweh. Okay, and they're gonna tell you that's the holy name, but it's not. That's really the name of Baal. Okay, or Balaam. Okay, so like I said, that's not the true ancient Hebrew name. That's not the true name. Okay, like I said, they still operating as angels of light. Okay, like I said, Lucifer turned himself into an angel of light, and this is the light that they hold, which is sorcery, witchcraft, magic, trickology, deception, conspiracy to commit murder. Murder of who? Who they want to murder? The chosen ones. Who have they been murdering this whole time? The chosen ones. And we got the documented history to prove it by the assassinations that they commit on live TV. So you can't deny it, right? They should have never told us their history. Okay, they documented everything, and there's so much that they documented their own destruction. So we are about to see the fall of America. We watching it as we speak. Okay, so these are the handlers. They always got a handler around the chosen one. They will always have a handler. Okay, so that's the person that they got around you to handle you. Okay, and if you a chosen one 9 times out of 10, everybody in your life is a op. Okay, and that's why they have to isolate themselves. Um, because everybody's an op. Okay. Um, so like I said, we're gonna go here, here, here. Okay. We got Big Daddy Kane did it. We got Trump and them doing it. Okay, and imagine that he's the president now. But when this came out, we got Jeb Bush. When this came out, like I said, I've been using this website since like 2000. It's 12, I think I first found it. So this been up since 2012. And is it a coincidence that this man became president? Okay, so what are we gonna do? It's either true or it's not. Not saying that it ain't. You know what I'm saying? So now we gotta look at the pardons that he done did. We gotta look at everything now. You know what I'm saying? So what is what? Are y'all down to change the shit, or y'all gonna keep doing the bullshit? I mean, you just bombed Venezuela. So like I said, man, there are two Donald Trumps. Like Dick Gregory said. Okay, he said there are two Donald Trumps. Okay, um, but has he been killed and replaced? Who knows? Okay, who knows? Tom Hanks. And remember, the Nasar Gsar. Remember they did the 20 the covert. You know what I'm saying, to to cover up the fact that they were arresting all these elite officials and all these corporation top heads because they was all on Epstein list. They all was on Pizzagate. They all was doing pedophilia stuff, messing with kids. They was doing all this stuff. So what they did was they made everybody act like they got covert, and they got covert. But really, what covert was, it was it was them arresting them and releasing them up under our noses and not bringing it to the public because they had all these federal crimes against us and the whole industry and the whole politician. We wouldn't have nothing no more because they all got caught and the FBI covered it up like they always do. So it says right here, it says man lives within an environment of symbols. It says extreme and important in understanding something about the symbol making process because the symbols are raw material of human thought and all consciousness, superficial. It says we think that the words are the only form of communication. It says because we live in such a highly verbal atmosphere, yet in actuality there are far greater amount of nonverbal communications going on all the time. It says through the use of other symbols than words. Okay, do other symbols and words. Okay. Um, okay, and we can do all that. I'm gonna get into that. Just seen that, so now I'm gonna have to look at this motivational stuff. Okay, that's why they got all these motivational speakers now, right? Okay, black and white text is a form of training document. It says picture is not. Okay, so black and white text is a form of training document. Okay, that's why they wanted you to put everything in black and white. That's why when you type online is in what? Black and white. It's all document. You know what I'm saying? So be mindful of the things that you documenting. Okay? So let's go. Um yeah. They also use sex magic as well. Okay? They're gonna use sex magic on you as well. Okay? So they got symbols and the signs of a sex magic as well. Let me see if I can pull that up. Okay, sexual logos. So they also got sexual logos. Let's see. Look at marketplace. What that look like? You thought that was a chef with a hat, a nose, a chef nose with a hat. Look at it. Okay, this is all sex magic. Okay, from Hello Kitty to burger pizza. We can't even eat pizza nowadays because that's a part of sex magic. Look at this shit. Nigga can't even eat pizza. That's why I'm glad I quit eating meat. Like, man, I'm telling you, we can't run from this shit. And these are business logos, y'all. These are business logos. Okay? Real estate, sex magic, computer doctors, sex magic, sex magic. Okay? So they like to use sex magic as well. Okay? Um they like to use sex magic as well. So let me see what else can we get into. All right, so we're gonna go back up here. Um, so we stopped there. So it says the gods and their symbols. Okay, so this has a breakdown of the gods and all their symbols. Okay, from the snake. And we see that at the hospitals. So let's go there. We see that at the hospitals, like the hospital sign with the snake going around the thing. Okay, like I said, and they fly the American flag where at the hospital. So they, like I said, anywhere they fly the flag, that's where they at war with us at. They fly it in the school system as well. Okay, they attack us in the school system as well by teaching the kids lies. Okay, and program them to be productive slaves to the program. Okay, it goes on and on and on. Okay, like I said, seeds of the serpent, they exist. Okay, I told you the medical field went right to it. Okay, they witch doctors. That's why holistic health doctors have been assassinated at alarming rates, right? Because they want you to come take their magic potions to keep you what? Under the spell. Why you think you got a million side effects that's worse than the symptoms that you have? Okay, here they go. The military. They also in the military too. Okay, they showing you. Okay, all these entertainment. Why you think the entertainment system, entertainment industry failed? Right. This is all form of idolatry. All form of idolatry. Is that Beyonce the fiance? Nope. She gonna be on here too somewhere. Oh, there she go. I just told. See, I can't make. Oh, that's Shakira. That's Shakira. Beyonce gonna be on here somewhere too. I know she is. And not I already. I know where there's one where she at. Okay. Look at this. You know what I'm saying? They telling you, y'all. They telling you what they represent. They telling you who you are. You also can look into their eyes and see who they are. If you ever look into their eyes, they're gonna have that cat eye. Like, look, their pupils are gonna be like this. Okay, they might have an eyeball like us, but just look at the pupil. That's gonna tell you everything you need to know. Okay, like I said, you got, but all of them are not wicked either. So, we got to keep that in mind too. Okay. Um, so they've been walking amongst us. Okay. Um, this whole time. But like I said, not all of them are evil. Okay. Mostly only the reptilian reptilian, the Drake. I can't even say the name. The Drake. You know what I'm talking about? The draconian reptilians. Them is the hierarchy ones. Okay. Salakia. See, I couldn't even get it out. All right. Let me see. I couldn't even get. So we just gonna go in. I'm gonna just go into that. We're gonna leave that for here for now. But like I said, if y'all want to check out that information, it's on this website here, Luciferian Symbolism, as well as TO, and it is not a secured um, login, but it does have all the information there. So you know, um, so we're gonna go into energy robbing, okay? Because they like to rob you of your energy, okay? They like to rob you of your energy. Why? Because they got parasitic energy. Okay, just like these animals got parasitic energy. I'm tired of these niggas messaging me on Facebook because they always trying to distract me when I'm trying to do something. Alright? Um, it says the reptilians are energy. It says slash emotional parasites. Okay? That's why they always in their emotions. That's why they always trying to provoke you to anger because they're energy parasites. They can't. They have no energy unless they energy vamp off you. Okay, so they want to come get you upset. They want to lower your energy, lower you to a frequency, and then they get you upset. And then while you upset, they done stole your energy. Now they walking around all happy and shit. Okay, because they're energy vampires. That's what parasites do. Okay, but not even knowing that they have a parasite, most people don't even know they got these parasites inside them that exist that are controlling their every move because they still eating the meat. They never done a detox. They're not spiritual. They don't got no divine protection. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for the devil to attack them. It's easy for the governmental frequencies to work on them. It's easy for their mind to be manipulated and controlled because they have no protection. Okay? So the thoughts that they be having don't even be their thoughts. These be thoughts planted in your brain by the enemy, and we already bust that out, and we got the government patents for that on the frequencies in anyway. That's why everybody got they call VLF waves and VFM waves. Okay, it's the conscious containment of terraforming. They are terraforming your brain, right? And we all heard these terminology before. They talk about it all the time in our face. But see, it's on you to understand it and discern it. See, they didn't think I was this smart to discern it, and I've been studying them the whole time. I've been studying them the whole time, right? I've been studying their ass for over 20 years. So it says right here, it says their job is to manipulate your thoughts, your emotions, and impulse. But it says and put you into a certain slow or low vibrational state, triggering. Keyword triggering. I told you they always want to trigger you. It says and and a release of energy from your field, which can be siphoned off and collected through psychic or technological means. That's why they always have to have a medium or a psychic or somebody performing witchcraft. Okay? They all tie to each other. I told you. It's a conspiracy against the chosen ones for psychiatric warfare to commit spiritual murder and have you physically die through your own self sabotage. So that is conspiracy to commit murder. Okay? It says lingering emotions such as a fear and guilt. It says tend to produce a slow and steady bleed of energy. Okay? It says white angry or while angry and sexual orgasm produces short concentrated bursts. Okay, so like I said, they get you angry. Like you ever heard the term "make up to break up"? You know, the relationships where they always fighting, and next thing you know, when you done fighting, you having sex. 9 times out of 10, that's the energy vampire that you're dealing with. That's why they like to fight and fuck. Okay, excuse my language as well. Like I said, this for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay. Um, So it says, that's what they try to do. So that's why it's so important for us to go on semen retention, man. Okay? It says concentrated bursts, okay? So they thrive off that. They thrive off your emotions. They thrive off the sexual, the sexual desires and all this stuff. That's why pedophilia is high in the higher ups, okay? So if you go to pedophilia, it says pedophilia flourishes as an elite habit to rob energy called energy vampirism. It says energy robbing. Okay. It says one visual face of Satanism. It says the main control tool. It says a visual ruling elite through potential blackmail and shame. Okay, they try to blackmail you. They gonna try to blackmail you through shame. They gonna try to set you up to commit. They gonna send they little agents at you. You know what I'm saying? And we know homosexuality is a form of pedophilia. Okay, and that's why pedophilia and sexuality and homosexuality is so big in the music industry. Okay, it's child abuse and sex. Okay. Um, so that's why they always try to use the kids as well too, because they trying to get you to abuse a child. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I can understand why women, if you dating them, they be like when their kids need to correct it, they be like they try to give you permission to hit their kid. Like, man, I'm not finna touch no another man's kid. I'm not finna discipline no another man's kid. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? They be trying to set you up for failure. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't going. Hold on. It says orthos sonomic. Okay. It says Satan's mind control. It says it could be predict pre, pre-dial predictor. I can't even say that word. The psychopathy. Okay. It says containing, or it says certainly of the elite and psychopaths. Okay. It says and not engineered or caused by high level institutionalized child abuse force on the population. Okay, now how many of us have been abused as childs? Raise your hand. I can raise mine. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not necessarily saying it was from my parents either. You know what I'm saying? But everybody done been abused as a child, whether it was emotionally, emotionally, spiritually. Some people have been abused sexually. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. But this is the form that they use against us, man. This is how they control us. This is how they manipulate us. Okay, and like I said, man, people that's out there, man, you are not alone. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it happens to mostly all the chosen ones. Okay, so it says political and economical, entertainment, media, nations, leaders, world events, wars, even weather. Okay, so they even manipulating the weather, right? Through HARP. Okay, we all know about HARP. Anybody who's chosen who know about HARP, they know about HARP. It says, and it's all widowing dressing for the matrix. It says by believing in this false reality. It says allowing your thoughts and energy to be consumed by a daily grind of survival. They always want to keep you in survival mode. That's why they always got to be in control of your finances. That's why they gatekeep you and put you on a red list so you can't get a job. They put you on a red list so you can't get an apartment. They strip your license away from you so you can't drive around, you can't move around. They trying to isolate you to a fixed location. Okay, and then they gonna use biometrics and biochemical weapons and biological weapons on you and electrical um bioelectrical weapons against you. Okay, they gonna use that against you. Okay, it messes with your nerves. You wonder why you get nerve pain. You wonder why you get they're emitting a low frequency to irritate you because they know that pain is the forefront to mind manipulation. If a person is in pain constantly all the time, that's an easier way for them to control your mind, and that is documented. Okay, and they use that in mental institutions. It's called electric shock. They just doing it in a different form now. Okay, yes. It says humans feed their belief and emotions into their system, the matrix, the energy, the harvesting, the parasites. It says they are farming humanity. Okay, they're farming humanity, and then they doing magic words and spells, and now they got coding where they can do spells through the apps on your phone, and then they got you playing games like Farmland, basically telling you they're farming humility, and you on the game thinking you winning some shit for Timu. Whole time this is a whole spell to keep you distracted, right? It says, and they have been at it for a very long time. I told you, there's people that have aged in evil, and there's people that have aged in righteousness. Okay, so that's why it's a spiritual war. They on the opposing team. It says that's why they're putting on a show. On this show, they're putting on a spectacle. They're putting on a show. They always want to put on a show. Okay, they think they're gonna blackmail you. They think they're gonna put you to shame. They think they're gonna do humiliation ritual, not knowing the chosen one We crafted this the whole time just so we can show the world who y'all truly are. Okay. Now it says while they're putting on this show, they all of these reptilian actors to draw us into creating their reality. They want to create the reality for us. Why you think they in the background in the back scenes trying to pull all the strings and play puppet master? Okay. It says to limit our consciousness awareness to small boxes. You see it? You see I got all my clothes in a box. They try to witchcraft on me so I can put all my clothes in the box because they thought I was gonna limit my consciousness by putting my clothes in the box. Right? Alright, well we gonna show you that I told you that shit don't work. We over here laughing at y'all, man. Hold on. It says, it's man, you know what I'm saying? What the scripture say? Fool the fool who think they fooling you. Whatever he said. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the wise man, that's why we not supposed to entertain a fool in their folly. Okay? And we know that why foolish people hate knowledge. That's why they hate to get to understanding. That's why they hate when they hear you speak. Because a fool in his heart hates knowledge, and a fool in his heart said there is no God. Okay, well we showing you right now that God is exists, He's live, He's vibrant, He's aware, and He on y'all ass. Now look, it says, it says, it says, and manipulate our thoughts and our emotions through various belief systems. Okay, and contributed events. Okay, they always having a contributed event. They always want to have an event. Okay, it says you will be free once you stop believing in it. Okay, I told you, I don't believe in that magic. I don't believe in sorcery. I don't believe in superstitions. None of that. They talking about if you cross a black cat path, it bring man. I kick that ugly ass black cat across the street. You know what I'm saying? Ain't shit gonna happen to me. Fuck you and that ugly ass cat. You know what I'm saying? I kick that motherfucker across the street. You know what I'm saying? That's why every time the cats come around, they be looking at me all crazy. Motherfucker scared of me. I bet they is scared of me because they see the divine energy on me. I am the master of the universe. They gotta bow to me. I don't bow to them. Why you think they always bowing at my feet? Cause they already know. Cause they on the other side too. Now it says you will be free once you stop believing in it. It says and giving it your energy. That's why I gotta stop giving it my energy. You know what I'm saying? Cause they want you to feed into the energy. Nah, we gonna show you the truth. Then if we gonna feed into it, we gonna snatch the wig off that ugly bitch. You know what I'm saying? Called America. Now it says, ignorance and fear are the only things that can keep us in prison. I told you. I told you they thrive off fear. They want you to fear. They want you to be ignorant. I told you, but see, I was never ignorant the whole time. I was playing dumb. You know what I'm saying? I was just like they play dumb. I was playing dumb too. You know what I'm saying? You fucking right. That's why I be like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This nigga don't know shit. Bitch, I know everything. But anyway, we need to hear nor that. So it says the new world order Armageddon. Okay, just like I went and got the thing out there when I was up at which call it got Armageddon on it. Now this is what I'm telling you. When they doing forms of witchcraft, like I said, they'll take like a piece of your mail and then they'll put a weight on top of it, or they'll put something on top. They do all these type of spells and witchcraft and stuff. But like I said, it only works when you weak, okay, and when you're not giving your full devotion to God, okay, and that's when they trying to get you the most when you're vulnerable. That's why they send their little agents to come try to have little events with you and try to mess with your psyche and tell you just be vulnerable. They want you to put your guard down so they can use their witchcraft on you. That's why they went and deleted all those things we had when they stole my blueprint and sold it back to me and then did the thing on. They had to go delete all that shit because they knew I was waking back up. and I was on their ass. But see, it's already documented because it's already a digital footprint because it's already in the cloud. So, like I said, they made millions off me, and they owe me, and they can't be sued. Okay, and it make it so bad. It be the people that you was cool with. You know what I'm saying? I told you the Bible ain't no lie. Devil God ain't no joke. He said the wicked. He said the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. They owe me. So what says it says they want you to concentrate all your attention and energy into negative possibilities. It says to slow your vibration and to get you to manifest your own prison. Okay, it says we cannot be forced against our own will. It says, and that's why they work the system to gain our belief using deception. It says to get us to consent to their version of reality, which is a false reality. Okay? It's a false reality. They want you to have you believing in your dreams, believing you can be somebody, believing you can do all this shit. And the whole time, they over there gatekeeping. They blocking you from your vision. They blocking you from your dreams. They blocking you from your blessings. So it says, remember that the media exists to promote and to and promote the intruder agenda of fear and what dictotomy, whatever the fuck that word is. It says it says YouTube is no exception. So even though we on YouTube, this ain't no exception. It says their agents are everywhere. I told you they're everywhere. I says and they will always be the ones that receive the greatest promotions. Okay? That's why they always get promoted and you don't. But you the one doing all the hard labor, hard work, and hard money and putting up the numbers. Okay? It says that's why I'm like, nope, access apology accepted, access denied. You know what I'm saying? It says look very closely. It says and you'll find many reptilian hybrid shapeshifters among you. Look at them. They can't look you in the eye because they know if you look them in the eye, you're gonna see to their soul. That's why my dad always used to tell me, man, it's always in the eyes. You can always tell her who she is by looking at her eyes. You know what I'm saying? So it says always be aware of what's happening with your energy and vibration as you interact with others. It says even when you are just watching. It says examine it says the manner of speech, writing. It says and the facial expressions and the eye movement and the and use your intentions to discern their intent. It says if something feels wrong, it is. Intentions will never fail you. Silence the noise and learn to listen. Okay? So we quiet in the noise. That's why when they come around, they can't talk. Now, maturing candidate. This is another thing how they try to control you with the sex magic. Why you think they always buying hot dogs? Why you think they always buying pizza? Why you think they always got cheese? Why you think they always got pasta? Why you think they always got ice cream? Why you think they always got walnuts? Why you think they always got a map? And why you think they always got some sauce? So if you constantly buying these things or they got these things and they're not even eating them in their house, this is what they're using against you. This is the magic that they're trying to get you to commit to. So like I said, you got to be strong-willed and strong-minded and have that full armor of God on you at all times because these is the practices that they using against you. Okay? So the information is there. Okay? The information is there. Okay, it says emotional respect creates spiritual energies. Okay? So they trying to trick you in with the emotional respect. They gonna act like they good people. You know what I'm saying? They gonna pretend, they pretenders. but they only could pretend for so long, and you can tell. Like they only could fake trying to be happy, trying to be nice, trying to act like normal for so long. They can't do it. It's not. They can go maybe two. I give them a month at tops, but not even that, cause they gonna get irritated, nigga, in a matter of hours. Okay, they might mask it a little bit, but you can always tell the energy. You could tell, especially when y'all ain't fought in a couple days. Like, man, you wanna come home and start some shit. You know you do, but you can't. Cause I done found out. I'm not saying me personally. I'm just speaking in general. Um, but it says always. It says be aware of what's happening with your energy, your vibration, as you interact with others. So we gotta always be mindful of our energy, how we interact with others. Like I said, sometimes people be doing stuff subconsciously and not even knowing what they doing. Okay, so they just might be going through some shit, and that's why they got a negative, because they got high pressure on them at all times, or they going through a lot. And right now America's putting the belt on everybody ass, so everybody's in mixed emotions around the country right now. So we got to be mindful of that as well. Okay, so everything is not witchcraft used against you. Sometimes it's just some people going through it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's best to be alive, to be aware. Okay, of your surroundings. So it says examine the manner of speech and writing. Okay, so like I said, tonality is everything. You could tell by the tone of someone's voice whether they genuine or not. Okay. Um, and it says in the facial expression and the eye movement. Okay, body language is everything. It says and use your intention to discern their intent. It says if something feels wrong, and intention will never lie. Okay, or never fail you. It says silence the noise and learn to listen. Okay, so that's a part of the energy vampires and the loose. Okay, so and then animal slaughter. Okay, that's just like uh, when my dog died. Okay, when my dog died, I tried. I'll try to. She died, and it was a weekend came, man, and I had to wait 3 or 4 days before the dog people could come pick her up. And I had her in the garage wrapped up. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't want her to start smelling like that. You feel me? But so that's why I had her in the garage. You know what I'm saying? Um, but my girl like, man, just bury her in the back. You need to bury. I want her buried now. She got a whole fight with me, argument. Like, I'm a person. I don't like to argue. You know what I'm saying? So that argumentative shit is a part of my downfall and part of the reason why them energies take over. Cause I'm not an argumentative person. You know what I'm saying? And then this motherfucker want to argue over every little thing. So I'm like, man, for me to get her to shut the fuck up, fuck it, I'll just go bury the dog in the bag. You know what I'm saying? But she kept pressuring me into burying the dog in the bag. But at the same time, I didn't want to do it. I had to do it against my will. You know what I'm saying? And that's like some pet cemetery shit. Now let's see. It says right here, animal ritual or animal slaughter. So like part of an animal ritual. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to be a part of that. That's why I said a prayer over it. And like I said, it was against my will. So I would not be a part of that form of witchcraft. And then 2 months later, this nigga get found dead in the garage. Why? Cause the land got cursed. But like I said, we neither here nor there. This is just the first section of the lesson. And we're gonna get into part 2 later, and then that's when I'm gonna bring out the scriptures, and we're gonna go into a little bit more detail uh, of this psychological warfare and the biochemicals in the foods, so on and so forth. Like I said, I haven't ate meat in 5 days, so my energy levels are high, blood circulating good again. Um, the canker on my or the sore on my foot is gone. Um, my blood sugar is low and my blood pressure's not high no more. Okay, so it's all about self and wealth and health. Okay, well, health is a new wealth. Okay, so be mindful of that. And like I said, meat has a lot of parasites in it, and that's how the parasitic nature can be controlled. And that's also how they can use the electronic frequencies for the mind control. Like I said, this is all public information. This is all public documents, and it's all government patents. You can go look up. So this is not falsified because they have it documented in their patents. So holla at your boy, and I hope y'all got some information that you needed out of this. Like I said, this is for education and entertainment and information purposes only. If you do need a lawyer, do be advised. But like I said, this is only for entertainment, education, and information purposes only. All right, holla at your boy.